Got to get out there and do your job.
He just flinged it, and it went 50-plus yards.
They could, roll their way into the Super Bowl, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Uses his magic, uses wizardry. Hello, welcome to Football X's and O's, our weekly tactics show giving you the inside analysis on the best NFL matchups every Monday. We'll take a deeper dive into the 49ers' thrilling 42-38 win over the Bears in Week 17. I'm Ryan Cino. Alongside me is NFL expert David Scott. David, nothing but offense in this epic game.
Yeah, I think you could label this one as game of the year. It was just hit after hit. It was so much fun. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about.
What an amazing game. So, David, what are the topics?
All right, so we're going to talk about Brock Powers. Brock Purdy went nuclear in this game. Just touchdown after touchdown. He could not be stopped. We're going to dive into what he did so well. While the Kit's away, George Kittle did not play in this game, but a couple guys stepped up to have a big impact. We're talking about Feel the Burden. Luther Burden, rookie wide receiver, having a really good game, one of his best of the season. We'll talk about what he did on a touchdown scoring play. We're going to talk about a free play, Caleb Williams taking advantage of a penalty to score a touchdown. Really exciting stuff there. And then we're talking about for the win, the game-winning touchdown from Brock Purdy to Jauan Jennings. Really exciting play there, some good stuff going on. We'll dive into that as well.
All right, let's get to the first topic, and what a back-and-forth game this was. Just nothing but offense. Let's start with the quarterbacks. Brock Purdy, 5 touchdowns. He had that early pick, but the rest of the way, he was seamless.
Yeah, you start off with that pick 6. Things are looking a little bad for Brock Purdy. That must have lit a fire in him because no problems after that. Just 5 total touchdowns in this game? He goes absolutely crazy, just connecting with everyone in his offense. No George Kittle, no problem. He's going to Jauan Jennings, he's going to Ricky Pearsall, he's going to Christian McCaffrey. Everyone was clicking in this offense, and they really needed it because the Bears were doing just about the same thing.
I feel like Purdy, he had a little bit of struggles. I feel like when he's on, he's really on, and I got to give a lot of credit to Kyle Shanahan. He's just like a magician, the way he handles things with the offense. It just feels like every time Purdy was stepping back to throw, guys were open for Purdy.
Yeah, Shanahan is definitely one of the best offensive minds in the game right now, or you could say in the game in the last 20 years or of all time. He really knows what he's doing, scheming up plays for his quarterbacks. We saw it with Mac Jones earlier in the year. Almost any quarterback can do well in this offense. I'm not saying that Brock Purdy cannot do well. I have long been, I'd say, a hater of Brock Purdy, but games like this show me that he is truly a competent quarterback in this league. He deserves to have the contract that he's on. And he's showing why the 49ers are now in contention for the number 1 seed in the NFC.
And the rushing yards. I feel like Brock, you always have to watch out for him to move, his off-platform throws. I feel like that was a key aspect in terms of Brock being good in this game.
Yeah, sneaky athlete is what I would say for him. He can take off with the ball when he needs to. He is very poised in the pocket. He's a great passer, very accurate. But at the same time, if things are crumbling around him, he has the wherewithal to get out of the pocket and get a nice gain for a first down with his legs. So no problem for him running the ball. And we saw it. He got 2 touchdowns on the ground in this game. So showing that aspect of his game, that unlocks some more things for Shanahan to scheme up for him, maybe some design runs in the future going into the playoffs. I'm sure they've got a lot of tricks in their pocket that they haven't shown just yet.
And Caleb Williams, this guy was so good in this game. Yes, he got the loss, but he was just stepping up, and he was just making great throws. I feel like he was just on point with his throws, going deep with some guys. I feel like Caleb, he's just on point, and he's making his stride in his second year.
Yeah, I think Williams, as this year has gone on, he has grown more and more as a quarterback. He looked really good in this game. This is pretty important for him, those 330 passing yards. He now only needs 270 to be the first 4,000-yard passer in Bears history, so we'll keep an eye on that next week. But outside of, a record to put himself in the books, he looked really good, very poised in the pocket. His accuracy was spectacular during this game. And the deep ball I was really impressed with. He was finding guys down the field without any problems. The deep ball was very impressive. We don't see that too much from Caleb, but he did really well with it. And he didn't really use his legs all that much in this game. I think he could have done that more in some of these more do-or-die situations. But at the same time, you don't really need to when you're passing like that. So really good game from him. He got some help from his running backs. DeAndre Swift had a really good game. But outside of that, yeah, really good connection with his receivers.
And he was connecting with Luther Burden, guy, a rookie. He didn't have, Rome Odunze for yet another week. So for him to do this, without his guys, even DJ Moore, has been on and off. I feel like he's been connecting really well with the Burdens of the world, the tight ends. And that's why Williams has had such a good year.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about both, Luther Burden and Colston Loveland in this episode. But yeah, he's doing really well. Bears at full strength in the playoffs, I'd be a little scared if I was going up against them.
Yeah, their offense is just seamless, and then the run game, like you said, Swift balled out. Monungai has been doing well. So I got to give them a lot of credit. They stuck with it in this game, 42-38. it's just the way it is. The 49ers ended up getting that touchdown in the end.
Yep, came down in the last 5 seconds.
To the next topic we go, and it's going to be the 49ers contributors. Christian McCaffrey, we're not going to be surprised with him. He's just that guy that's going to be a future Hall of Famer. And just 140 rushing yards. What did you see from McCaffrey? It's just same old with him.
It really is just same old. He's doing what he does best, which is just dominating opposing defenses. It's hard to even not analyze him anymore because you just expect him to do this kind of thing every night. But again, stepping up when he needs to. No George Kittle. You got Ricky Pearsall back in this game, but still, George Kittle is a big hole in that offense. So he's just going to do what he does, which is absolutely ball out. He wasn't even doing all that much on the receiving end, which is usually where he steps up when the receivers are out. Just running the ball exceptionally. He's still doing it even as he gets older. And he's a special player. He's going to go for 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards this year. And you really just can't contain him. And with the 49ers coming closer to taking over that 1 seed, I would be terrified, absolutely terrified in the playoffs.
And I think he was probably candidate for, a comeback player of the year. He got hurt late last year, and you didn't really see that same Christian McCaffrey. He had those lingering injuries. I feel like he's definitely a candidate for that award.
Yeah, absolutely. 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards is nothing to scoff at. And this is going to be the second time that he's done it in his career. No one's ever done that, which is, we're seeing a Hall of Fame player in action. I could absolutely see him, adding another Offensive Player of the Year to his trophy case. But I think he's really looking for that Super Bowl title.
And then to the next guy, Jake Tunges. He just stepped up with George Kittle being out for yet another week. So he just has been balling out. He's been finding open lanes, to get the football. He got that 1 touchdown. Speak to me about Jake and the way he's been that reliable target for Purdy when Kittle is out.
Yeah, next man up mentality. Just you got to get out there and do your job, even when the top guys aren't there. And Tunges, I think, is a very competent tight end in this league. He's blocked by George Kittle. That stinks. You've got perhaps the best tight end in the league in front of you, so you can't really show yourself all that often. But when the opportunity comes, Tunges is always there making plays. He's got good hands. He's got the ability to run sharp and crisp routes. And he showed that in this game. 7 receptions. Purdy really trusted him to get the ball, and that resulted in a score, which helped them win the game. So, yeah, great game from Tunges. I could see him being utilized more even when Kittle's on the field, maybe a little more 12-man personnel, 2 tight ends on the field. I could see it. So I think this is a good game. We talked about it before, for Shanahan to scheme up some new things for the future, possibly getting Tunges more involved. Because if he's on the field at the same time as George Kittle, a lot of guys are going to overlook him.
Definitely, and he was playing against a team that cut him, in 2023. So for him to get revenge on his former team, that had to feel good.
Oh, absolutely. The revenge game always inspires players to do a little extra. So maybe seeing his old team really helped him out into getting that touchdown that nice day.
All right, to the next topic we go. We get to the plays. The 49ers are up 14-7. Bears have the football. 3 minutes left in the first quarter. 1st and 10 on the opposing 35. And Williams finds Luther Burden for the deep connection.
Yeah, so this is where we talked about that deep ball for Caleb Williams was really working today. He had a really nice touch on this. So what we're looking at here is just pretty simple. It's looking like zone coverage here. It could be a bit of a match where someone covers their man up through the zone. We've talked about matches before. It's a simple concept where you've got your high safeties, and some guys will drop into a zone, some guys will cover a receiver. And here I believe Burden was covered going up into that zone, because as we see when the deep ball comes in, there are 2 guys on him. So we'll say it's a match, and we'll leave it at that for the defense. But Burden, just all he's got to do is streak down the field here. Utilize your speed, get down past the high safeties to get an opening for Caleb Williams. And that's exactly what he does. He uses his speed. He bursts past the high safeties. He's open. He's got a step. All Williams has got to do is get it over them. And he does that perfectly. Beautiful touch on this ball. He really does not put all that much, oomph into the pass. Floats it up there. Nice little moon ball. Get over the defense. Drops it right in the bucket for Burden. He could waltz into the end zone for a touchdown. Perfect play from both sides. I was really more impressed with Williams because this was a beautiful deep ball.
And the arm strength was just on display. It felt like he just flinged it, and it went 50-plus yards. You don't see that with a lot of these quarterbacks these days.
Yeah, Williams doesn't really get to display his arm strength all that often. In this Ben Johnson offense, there's a lot of movement, a lot of short passes, getting guys open in the mid-range or screen passes, stuff like that. But when someone needs to go deep, Williams has the capability to bomb it down there, and you saw that here. And I would love to see more of that because I think Williams, we've seen more and more this season that he's a very accurate passer, and that accuracy does not go away when he's throwing the ball deep. He did it here. He did it on another play that we'll show soon. Gets the ball down the field with ease, with accuracy. That is a weapon against defenses. If you've got a speedster who can get past the high safety, you're going to have problems.
And we didn't say it. He has pressure coming at him, too. That wasn't just like, he's having a cup of coffee in the pocket throwing it. He had pressure coming at him.
Yeah, I think Williams is among the best, if not the best, at facing pressure in the NFL. Because what he does really well when pressure's coming on him is escaping the pocket and finding a way to create a play. He doesn't do that here. Instead, he stands in the pocket. He faces that pressure in his face and just rips that ball down the field. That is a very, very important skill for a quarterback. A lot of guys get scared in the pocket. They get happy feet. They bail out when they don't need to. Williams is good at bailing out to find extra yardage, but at the same time, he's good at facing that pressure. He's not scared to take a hit. He's going to get that ball out, and if he's got to get on the ground to do it, he's not mad about that. He's a tough guy, knows what to do when the pocket is collapsing. And with the Bears, the pocket is usually collapsing.
And Luther Burden, going back to him, I mean, they got him in the second round. I feel like they just found a gem in this draft. I feel like a lot of GMs, they overthink things. The Bears saw a wide receiver there by the name of Luther Burden, and they made the right choice.
Yeah, Burden was absolutely overlooked in this draft. I agree with you. Maybe some overthinking. I had him as a first-round wide receiver the whole way. You look at guys like Matthew Golden, who went above him and have had zero impact this year. Meanwhile, Luther Burden has had very nice big moments throughout the season. Should not have been a second rounder. He was a first rounder all the way out of Mizzou. He should have been somewhere in the mid-first round. I don't know why he fell, but the Bears are definitely happy that he did.
All right, the second play we go. The Bears have the ball, 21-14 49ers, first and 10 on the opposing 36. And this is a free play. Williams finds Loveland for the score.
The free play is always fun because you know the ball is going downfield somewhere. And what happens is a couple of the D linemen jump early, the snap gets off, so Williams, it's an offside, so you know you're going to get a couple of yards for free. You might as well try bombing it down the field. So what he does, the defense is a little confused since it's a free play. The flag is down, so there's not much pressure coming at him. What he does is he just waltzes over to the side of the field here, holds the ball, lets the play develop a little bit. What happens is Colston Loveland, I believe, is running a route towards the left corner in the end zone. And when he realizes that this play is kind of unraveling because of the flag, just kind of wraps it back around towards the other side of the field. That gets him wide open. And Williams, since he's moved over to the right side of the field behind the line, he can just rip the ball down the seed right to Loveland. No one's on him. He's got guys close to him, but it's really easy for Williams to just fire a line drive about 30 yards down the field into the end zone. Loveland's got great hands, picks it right out of the air, falls right into the end zone. No problem here. Free plays are awesome. You know, Aaron Rodgers was the master of the free play. He always bombed those things down the field when he got his free plays. Williams did the exact same thing here. He got composed, didn't react to it too quickly, didn't get flustered by the flag. Let the play develop, let the defense unravel with all that confusion. Finds his guy down the field for a touchdown. I
was impressed with Williams on this play. I feel like he leads Loveland into this. You know, he knows there's a defender to his left, and for him to make that accurate football, again, it looked so effortless with him making this throw.
Yeah, I mean, this was a seed, a frozen rope down the field. He was going just absolute line drive with that football. Great connection, and yeah, with that arm strength for Williams. It's on display here. It's what we want to see more because he's using it a lot in this game, and they're in it until the last 10 seconds of the game. They put up 38 points, or I believe it was 38 points. More bombs down the field, please, yeah. Caleb Williams. And Ben Johnson, scheme up more of this. Obviously, you can't scheme up a free play, but still, we're seeing that Williams' arm strength is a true weapon in the league.
We've been praising, obviously, the Bears, and rightfully. We want to go to the 49ers defense. I feel like they've been, they did win this game, but 400-plus yards they allowed in this game. Talk to me about the 49ers defense and what they could have done in this game.
Yeah, the 49ers defense has certainly been banged up throughout the year, so we'll give them a little bit of a pass. They might get Fred Warner back for the playoffs, yeah. But the defense has not been the typical 49ers defense that we're used to. Not getting a lot of great pressure, not being locked down in the secondary. They're having a lot of issues, giving up way too many yards, not turning the ball over. I've pretty much just mentioned every facet of the defense that they're not doing well. They're a good unit. Things just aren't clicking this year.
And they don't have Nick Bosa either. That's a big one.
Nick Bosa tearing his ACL also was not great. A lot of key injuries, I think, is the biggest issue for this defense. They really just don't have their cornerstones. No Fred Warner, no Nick Bosa is really going to put a big dent in your defense. But at the same time, guys aren't stepping up where they need to. There's been issues all over the field. And if this continues into the playoffs, we've seen that their offense can win them these football games. But when you get into crunch time in the playoffs, if you're still giving up 400, 450 yards and 38 points, you might run into some problems.
And going back to the Bears, I mean, we already talked about it with Williams, but, connecting with Loveland, I know he only got maybe 1 or 2 catches in this game, but I think it's going to be a key thing for them in the playoffs, for Loveland to get involved.
Yeah, I mean, second half of the season, I think Loveland overtook Tyler Warren as the best rookie tight end this year. He's really become more of an offensive factor here. At the start of the season, he was serving more as a blocking tight end. He was just kind of out there as a distraction, out there to get extra protection for Williams. But as the season's gone on, Ben Johnson's found a way to truly scheme his strengths into this offense. And now Loveland is just spectacular out there. I think he's turned himself into a top 10 tight end, not just among rookies. You can maybe even go top 5. He's been catching a lot of passes. He's been scoring touchdowns. He's been racking up yards when he needs to. He's been really, really good. It was a really smart pick that was debated at the time. But at the same time, he showed his strengths at Michigan. He's showing his strengths now. I think this is going to be a really good connection, Williams and Loveland, alongside Williams and Burden and Williams and Odunze, all those guys. So really good stuff here. I think it's only going to grow as the years go on.
All right, so last topic we go, and the 49ers would win this game, but it was a back-and-forth game. The Bears are up 38-35 late in the fourth quarter. The 49ers have the ball 1st and 10 on the opposing 35, and Brock Purdy launches it to Jauan Jennings for the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, I think what's going on here is the Bears are playing a bit of prevent defense. And now what happens when you play prevent defense? You prevent yourself from winning. I don't like prevent defense because you drop guys too deep in your zone defense. You open up a lot of holes in the middle of the field that can easily be exploited to just get you churning down the field. Now here it results in a touchdown rather than just working your way down the field. What happens is Jauan Jennings, with his speed, is streaking up the field, then comes across the field, and there's a massive hole in the defense here. Purdy has no problem fitting the ball in here because there's no window. He's throwing it through a door or a garage door. There's absolutely no problem getting the ball here. Now Jennings is coming across the field. How are we going to get up the field to score our touchdown? Well, the unsung hero over here is Ricky Pearsall, who is doing a comeback route here. But once you see that ball comes out, Pearsall streaks back up the field, throws a block down on the safety, and that lets Jennings find the edge here, get up into the end zone. So this great play, a lot of good things coming together for the 49ers. In my opinion, awful defense. Really, really bad stuff from the Bears here situationally. This kind of soft zone as you're getting closer to the red zone while you have a lead that is a field goal lead. I believe they would have been fine if the 49ers scored a field goal or if they...
Yeah, they would have just needed a field goal to tie the game,
Yeah.
Instead you need a touchdown, the Bears at the end. Yeah.
So you want to hold them to a field goal here. You're playing way too soft, a lot of openings, ends up really coming back to bite them. And obviously, they go on to lose the game because of this touchdown. So I don't like anything the Bears did here. I think the 49ers perfectly countered it. Good job, Kyle Shanahan. You found the hole in the defense. Bears, don't do this again.
And there's no pass rush either. I feel like Purdy was in that pocket and found Jennings. I feel like that was something that we didn't see enough of from the Chicago's defense.
That's what happens when you drop like this. Yeah. You're getting 4 guys who are just, trying to get to the quarterback on their own. No help there. I mean, they don't even have a running back doing pass protection here, and Purdy's completely fine. Just straight 4-man rush. Everyone's dropping back. That's going to lead to issues. Purdy's going to he could be a statue in the pocket, and he's going to be just fine. Don't run prevent defense. Don't run a deep zone. When the clock is running down and you really need a stop, I'm much more of a fan of bringing some pressure, trying to force the quarterback to make a decision quickly, rather than dropping back and giving him time to make a decision. Because when he has time, he's going to find that hole. Get a little pressure in there, get him on his feet, get him off his feet onto the ground, hopefully. But at the same time, you just want to do anything other than leave a massive hole here. I would like man coverage better than this. I would like a 6-man blitz like this. I would rather, a zero safety help blitz. All of this is not the right call in this situation, and it comes back to bite them.
Yeah, at the same time, the 49ers, I just feel like, Kyle Shanahan, I'll give the props to, Purdy obviously too, but I feel like Kyle Shanahan utilizing guys that you normally didn't see in the years past, maybe being that number one. Jauan Jennings has been that guy for them. Obviously they have Kittle, they have Tungus, they have McCaffrey, but in terms of wide receiver being on the outside, Shanahan uses his magic, uses his wizardry to find Jennings for the touchdown.
Yeah, with the whole Brandon Ayuk situation, Jauan Jennings has turned into the number 1 wide receiver in this offense, and I think he's had a great year. He's really filled that role well. He's been a really good deep threat. He's got great speed. We love guys who have burner speed. So he's done well with that, and that's partially why this play works out so well, is because he just streaks into that open zone so quickly. He's done well in his role. Ayuk is not going to be on this team next year. He obviously didn't play this year. I think Jennings is going to continue in that wide receiver 1 role unless they draft a guy, but I don't see them drafting a wide receiver, especially where they're going to be picking from, because I expect them to be at least 1 win in the playoffs and maybe further. So I think Jennings continues off this success this year. He's going to have some competition from Ricky Pearsall next year, but Pearsall did not play all that much this year from injury. So good job, Jauan Jennings, and good job, Kyle Shanahan, for helping him find that success this year.
So for the 49ers, they're playing Seahawks, big game. The winner, gets the number 1 seed, gets a home field advantage, and, a bye. Who do you see winning in that game?
I'm going to give it to the 49ers. 49ers are hot right now.
And they're at home, too.
Yep, they're hot right now. They're stringing together a couple good wins. I think they could take down the Seahawks and sneak into that 1 seed at the very last minute. They're playing good football. Obviously, the defense was not too great in this game, but I think if it comes to a shootout, they have a better chance than the Seahawks do.
Hey, they're an overlooked team, but at the same time, they've just been finding ways, and they could easily, get the number 1 seed. I totally agree with you.
They could, roll their way into the Super Bowl, and I wouldn't be surprised. They're playing real good football.
And they happen to host, too, the Super Bowl, so
yeah,
we could see that, too.
Exciting.
That would be definitely exciting. All right, that's going to wrap things up here at Football X's and O's. So you can catch us every Monday. We also have Ain't There a Bowl every Thursday. Please like and subscribe, and who do you think will win in the NFC? Let us know in the comments.